Welcome back, everyone, to the PMI Global Congress 2014 in Phoenix, Arizona. With me right now is Michael DePrisco, who is the Vice President, Academic and Educational Programs for PMI. Hello, Mike.
Hello, it's good to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Wonderful day in Phoenix.
It is.
Nice and warm.
It's always sunny in Phoenix.
That's right.
It's always sunny in Phoenix. Tell us a little bit more about your role with PMI. What does the Vice President, Academic and Educational Programs do?
Sure, great. Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I joined PMI about 2 years ago as the Vice President, as you said, Academic and Educational Programs. And in my role, I provide executive oversight to the academic and educational programs that PMI puts forth throughout the world. It includes our academic research function. We put on a variety of research and education events throughout the year to support the creation and distribution of new knowledge in the field of project management. I'm also responsible for the PMI Global Accreditation Center for Project Management Education Programs. We refer to that as GAC. And GAC accredits academic degree programs in project management at the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral levels. And those programs in particular that demonstrate a certain level of rigor and excellence in the area of project management and who are really advancing the profession through teaching. We also work with colleges and universities and help and support them in their efforts with project management education. And I also provide executive oversight to the PMI Education Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of PMI. And our focus there, our emphasis there, is helping younger students in middle and high school acquire those critical life skills that you find in project management and apply that to their education in middle and high schools.
All right. Let's take a quick step back before we look at each of these four in detail, because you are in charge of the academic market, but PMI has three markets defined. Can you tell us a little bit about the other two markets before we then come back to the academic side?
Sure. So we have within PMI a structure whereby we have emphasis and focus on three primary markets. The practitioner market, of course, being our members, our credential holders, those individuals that seek out PMI for knowledge and networking, and those folks that are attending the conference and the Congress here are very much those individuals who are seeking knowledge and networking and opportunities to learn more about the profession. We also have the organization market that focuses on developing relationships with organizations, those companies who are hiring our practitioners, and we advocate for the value that project program and portfolio management delivers to business results. The organization markets also does a lot of activity in the government relations area around the world and making connections with agencies and governments and working with them to provide support and information and thought leadership on the area of project management so governments and agencies can learn how they can use project management to better the operations in their respective countries. So the third market is the academic market, and that focus is really on advancing the profession, as I said earlier, knowledge creation, knowledge dissemination, and the practical application of that knowledge to advance the profession. That's really what we focus on, as well as accelerating the teaching of project management. I think if we're really going to be able to demonstrate the true value of project management in the academic community, it has to be viewed as a true academic discipline, and where you're able to do that and where you're able to leverage that is in the classroom. And we're seeing more and more colleges and universities express interest in teaching project management because they see the value that project management delivers to the workplace.
Okay. I think the most interesting thing from my perspective that you are in charge of is the educational foundation.
Yes.
What is the relationship between PMI and the PMI Educational Foundation? How do you play your part?
Right. Great question. So the PMI Education Foundation, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, is the philanthropic arm of PMI. We're set up as a 501(c)(3) supporting organization. We are a separate entity from PMI. The PMI EF has its own board, as well as staff who are really the staff, including myself. We're PMI employees who are assigned to work for the PMI EF, and we work with the board to advance the mission and the goals of the Education Foundation. So my role with the Ed Foundation is Chief Operating Officer, and I work with the Executive Director and her team to help advance our goals and objectives and serve as the liaison to PMI's CEO, Mark Langley, as the main supporting organization.
Mm. And what I find interesting is whenever I talk to potential students of mine who are having financial issues and they can't afford their education, the one thing they don't know is that the Education Foundation actually exists,
right,
and it is possible to get a scholarship in project management from PMI. All you have to do is qualify and apply.
That's right. And you're absolutely right. It's in some cases, it's the best kept secret, right? And what we want to do is we want to...
There's free money and nobody's taking it.
And no one's taking it. And, our focus within the Ed Foundation, we focus on creating work-ready individuals. So through our scholarship program, as well as professional development program, professionals as well as students can apply for a variety of scholarships. And I'm happy to say that over the course of the past few years, we've given away, or awarded, I should say, over $500,000 in scholarships and professional development funds to a variety of practitioners and students around the world. So it's a great benefit that's not really well known to everyone, but certainly if you go to pmief.org, our website, you would be able to search and look at all the variety of scholarships that we have available to practitioners around the world and students.
And of course, as always, we will have a link to that also in our show notes on the website. Second item you mentioned is research.
Yes.
What kind of research? Obviously into project management, but how does that then translate for us practitioners?
Right. So since 1997, we've always believed PMI as an organization in the value of advancing the profession through academic research. And since 1997, we've awarded over $20 million in research grants to scholars and academicians around the world who are interested in advancing the profession, advancing various topics through research. So our manager of academic resources and her team really do an outstanding job of building relationships with the academic community to make sure they're aware of the opportunities, the grant opportunities that exist. We know in academic environment, faculty, it's publish or perish, and we provide many opportunities for faculty to get recognition. We have our own journal, of course, Project Management Journal, which comes out of my area. And we have a volunteer editorial board that does a fantastic job for us in reviewing papers and determining what papers get published and those kinds of things. We also have an academic member advisory group made up of about 10 or 12 academics from around the world that we would not be able to do what we're able to do without their support. They're a tremendous group of people totally committed to advancing the profession and the field of project management. And they help us from everything from reviewing grant proposals for academic research to planning research and education events that we have throughout the year. So there's some of the things that we do, and we publish our research. It's available on our website, and we also make it available in our journal and highlight the research at various research events.
Do you have an example for me of a research that is PMI sponsored that then led to an actual application that the practitioners were able to benefit from?
Yeah, so there's a number of research studies, and one of our focuses really is we don't want to do research for the sake of doing research, right? I mean, it's important, obviously, but really from our lens, what we're trying to do is build a body of knowledge that can be shared with the practitioner and organization groups and have some practical application to the workplace, right?
Let's skip the GAC for now, because the one thing I'm not quite clear about is the difference between academic research and academic outreach, because that was the other item that you had on your list. So what is academic outreach? How does it connect, compare, differentiate with the academic research?
Yeah. So outreach is really focused on going out into the academic community and working with our chapter leaders, our chapter members, as well as stakeholders in the local communities in which we have a presence, and connecting with faculty at colleges and universities, and working with them to help support the needs they have to bring project management into their educational institutions. Recently, over the last 5 years, I would say, we have received a number of requests from faculty members who are interested in teaching project management, but don't always know where to start, don't necessarily have all the resources, content, materials that they would need to begin teaching. So one of the things we do through our outreach is work with colleges and universities who are interested in learning more about how to bring project management to their academic institutions, and we provide them with resources, support. We connect them to our local chapters, because our chapters are very much boots on the ground. They're the face of PMI, and they are developing relationships with academic institutions and can bring really two-way tangible value to them because they operate in their market. So we try to support those efforts through the various products and services that we have. Academic research is one thing that we talk about when we're talking to academic institutions about project management. Global accreditation is something we talk about when we are talking to colleges and universities, as well as other products and services that we may have available.
Okay. Is the academic outreach worldwide?
Yes, it is. We have a staff that's based in U.S. that supports our North American efforts. And we also are moving to, we have one staff member that's covering the European market for us, and we have plans to bring on additional support for the Asia Pacific region as well.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we also have to look at the GAC, the Global Accreditation Center.
Yes.
And all of this ties back, of course, into academia. Who are you accrediting and why, and who does the accreditation?
Right. Great question. Our global accreditation program has been around for about 13 years, and it aligns very well with PMI's overall strategy and focus on advancing the profession, recognizing that the academic community embracing project management as a discipline will really help us advance the profession and establish the credibility that we'd like to see throughout the world as it pertains to using good project, program, and portfolio management practices. So we have the program, as I said, it's been in existence for 13 years. We have a board made up of faculty, academics, as well as industry leaders who really do the work of reviewing an academic institution's materials to determine if their program meets the criteria that we have set out and the standards that we have set for accredited programs. So what we're talking about here, and it's important to clarify, when we talk about accreditation, we're talking about, in the traditional academic sense, accreditation, which usually is provided or given or awarded to an academic institution for specialization in a certain field or industry or discipline. So in this case, what we're looking to do is accredit academic degree programs, not training programs, academic degree programs in project management, or have a minor or focus or concentration in project management. And we typically find that at the bachelor's degree, master's degree, or doctorate degree level. We publish a handbook that explains all the guidelines and standards that we're looking for from institutions that apply for accreditation. And the real key to those standards and that guide is the learning outcomes. What learning outcomes, what outcomes are we looking for students to have, competencies that students need to have when they graduate from a program that focuses in on project management. So our standards are global because they include input from academicians from around the world. So institutions that secure global accreditation really have a way to differentiate themselves in the market, because they can say to prospective students, our program's supported by PMI. It's based on this standard that's been developed by faculty and experts from around the world, and you can be assured that it's a quality, rigorous academic program.
Allow me to make a comparison here. I'm a training company, and my customers always ask me, are you a registered education provider? I am. So on a very high level, is an accreditation of a university, in your sense, can it be compared to an REP, saying, there is an accreditation behind both of these, but one is a company, a registered education provider versus an academic provider?
Yeah.
Is that similar?
Well, we do separate the terms, and I know maybe some other organizations don't, but when we talk about accreditation, we're talking about accreditation in the strict academic sense from a college university perspective. That's different than what the REP program is all about. The main difference, of course, is that we're focused on academic degree programs, whereas REPs are
general training,
general training, prep, those types of things.
But on a basic level, there are certain rules in place,
Exactly.
there are standards in place,
Exactly.
processes in place,
Exactly.
and you have to follow these in order
Right.
to become an REP
Right.
or accredited.
Exactly. It's a quality management piece, of course. If you're an REP, there's obviously a number of standards and things you need to do to maintain your eligibility there, criteria that you need to meet. For a college and university that has an accredited program, they have to demonstrate that they're meeting the standards as well every so many years. So in that sense, yes, we have a quality management program in place to ensure that the providers of project management, whether it's education from an academic degree standpoint in a college or university or a training program, has a certain level of quality that we can stand behind.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you do put boots on the ground in the end as well when it comes to the GAC, the actual accreditation. A friend of mine, she's a PMI volunteer, and she travels around the world, goes to various institutions, and does sort of almost, I want to call it the final checkup.
Yes.
She meets with the people there. It's a volunteer position,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's still done, so people can still help in that regard.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point. And I think the peer review process is the critical element that I think lends the credibility or gives the credibility to the accreditation program that we have here, because we do have a group of individuals, usually anywhere from 3 to 6 people, who are subject matter experts, who are volunteers, who go out and visit an institution who's applying for accreditation. And they really do a thorough examination and interview of faculty and students, and they review documentation and syllabi and other types of materials, library resources, to make sure that the program truly is doing what it says it's doing in its application process. And it gives an opportunity for our reviewers to really, quite frankly, interface, network with people, meet people, share best practices. It's a very collegial process. But at the end of the day, the recommendation of those individuals make a recommendation to the board, who are also volunteers, subject matter experts. And it's the board that decides, not PMI, it's the board that decides whether or not an academic institution meets the standards of accreditation and whether or not they're going to receive accreditation.
All right, let me recap our conversation for our listeners here. So we've learned that PMI focuses on 3 markets: practitioner market, organization market, and the academic market. You're in charge of the academic market, and as part of that, we have the Educational Foundation,
Sure.
academic research, the Global Accreditation Center, and also academic outreach.
Sure.
So what can our listeners do to help you in the academic market?
Well, I think I would say this. I think that I view, my role is to really partner with our members, our credential holders, our academic stakeholders from around the world to help support their efforts in bringing project management to their academic institutions, to their chapters, and to their communities. I think that we know that there is a need for trained and educated individuals, with the skills of leadership and communication, collaboration, and problem solving to help meet the needs of employers in the 21st century. And a lot of those skills are found in project management. And we truly believe that the next generation of project managers, it's critical that we're doing what we can in the academic area to help develop, identify, bring awareness of project management as a great career opportunity for these youngsters who are going through college and who may never have heard of project management, never heard that it could be a great career with great outcomes in terms of opportunity as well as income potential, right? So we're really working to bring that level of awareness. And then once we engage individuals, we want to work with them to help them put tools, content, resources in place to further their goals and the goals of the Institute to advance the profession. So I really see it as a two-way, as I said earlier, creating two-way tangible value where our stakeholders are getting as much out of it as we are relative to trying to advance the profession.
Excellent. Mike, Thank you so much for your time
today.
Thank
you. I appreciate the opportunity.